Okay. Ow. Today we're going to be reacting to some scary short animations today. Alright, let's go. Let's get right into it. Alright, one more thing. For 2025 the year of 2025, our goal is going to be to try to hit 150 subscribers. We can do that. I'm king of the world. Homer Simpson. Okay, let's go. Let's just hide this. This is annoying. Okay. Let's go. God. Let's go on YouTube. Yes. I think we'll do YouTube scary video instead of TikTok. Because remember the last time we did it? I can't replay because I don't know how to edit replays. My room smells good today. Okay. It's a random comment. Alright. There's a lot of channels on here I watch. Salmon actually inspired me to do this, so. Dang Matt Smith inspired me to do this video, scary short animations, because he does it. Go check out his channel. I think that's one of his newest videos out. He has 50 of them. So go watch all 50. Alright. Scary animation. This is my dream was to make be an animator and stuff. You could tell by the videos I do. Like the Luigi! Oh no! Yeah. I also kind of want to be a voice actor, though. There's a lot of stuff I want to be. But, Alright. Alright, with further ado, let's go. Or whatever you say. Hopefully this
Creating a new campaign. There's never been
easy. Ad don't copyright me or whatever. Ads. Alright. Are you guys ready? Well, let me turn this down. Alright.
I've lived a long enough life to have heard and seen a lot of unusual things. Of course, having spent many of my years in the state of Florida.
We're gonna watch
I've seen firsthand
3, okay?
on several occasions why the infamous Florida man is always making headlines across the country. Heck, I could have been one of those Florida men back in the day. But I can tell you without a doubt that no matter how steeled you think you've become against the surprises life throws at you, you're never invincible. Life always holds the power to shock you to your core. I mean, take me for example. I spent my years in the military, and I've spent my years on the streets, drifting between one rock and another hard place. But no matter what messed up stuff I have to see go down or deal with, I always bounce back.
The military.
Well, almost always. Out of everything I've seen, only one thing made me lose my cool. And I think it was just the sheer unexpectedness of it. Just that I didn't think anything like it could ever happen in broad daylight in the middle of the city.
What happened?
But there's no denying that this happened. Everyone knows about it these days. It was a nice sunny day in Miami. I was making my way across town down the concrete mess of a...
It was a nice sunny day. Alright.
highway, just to get out of that part of town I've been in for the last few weeks. I'd never owned a car, so I was taking my bike down the shoulder. Except I wasn't riding it. I hadn't been sleeping well, and the night before I didn't manage to catch any sleep at all. I was honestly too drowsy to pedal in a straight line, so I was literally just walking my bike down the shoulder of the road. There was a sidewalk next to me, but it was on the other side of a concrete barrier. like the ones they use to divide directions of traffic on freeways. I could have hopped it on foot, but not with my bike. I don't know exactly how I'd ended up sandwiched there between the cars and the concrete, but after what happened later, I'd take that way again over the alternative. The sun was getting high and bright.
I don't
It
think
was
it's so
starting
scary.
to
Is it
hurt
gonna
my
start
eyes.
like having a
I
lingering
squinted
or something?
ahead and saw that there was a bridge down the way, a nice wide overpass to provide some shade. I started
Oh,
to
he
quicken
lives in
my
Miami?
pace,
I'm jealous.
which felt
Well, he
pretty
said that a
silly
lot.
given that there were countless cars flying
He
past
said
me.
that a lot in the
But
video.
between the
Miami.
deafening whoosh of each vehicle
But I'm still
passing,
jealous.
I kept thinking I was hearing something. Something that sounded like the shouts
Don't
of
we
a
all
heated
want to live in
argument
Miami,
between
guys?
drunk
Don't we
people.
all?
That's probably
Or
you.
whoever's watching this
It's
video,
going out.
comment
It's
if
down.
you live in
That
Miami.
might not be something you'd expect to hear in the middle of the day in your town, but in Miami, it's more than common. But I couldn't
GTA
help
Vice
but
City.
think it sounded a little unusual. I figured that sleep deprivation was screwing with me.
Oh, they're in
I
comment.
pressed on, but as I got closer to the bridge, the shouting
Sounds
grew
like someone's
louder.
getting
It sounded
murdered.
more like screaming, but there was some other tone in there, like a growling rabid dog. Every time I thought I was about to decipher it, a car would blow past me. Then, the sound would change. By the time I got to the bridge, my curiosity was piqued. I could definitely tell where the noise was coming from. Straight ahead of me,
Do not.
just a few
Can
more
you?
yards under the shade. I peeked over the edge of the barrier onto the sidewalk and saw two hairy pairs of men's legs sliding around together on the sidewalk. I instinctively darted my eyes away,
Ew.
not wanting to see much
Shave your
more
legs,
above
man.
the thigh level. This experiment
Nobody
people
wants
need to get a room. What are they thinking? Doing stuff like that on the side of the road in the beating sun. Well, obviously no one cares because no one's stopping. Just another day in Florida. I
Wait,
did
what are
my
those
best to keep my eyes
stores?
to myself.
Oof, like it says oof right there. No, food, not oof, food. What does that one say? UROR. I can't see nothing. I was in Florida before, but it was nice there, man. I wouldn't mind living there. That would be insane.
As I passed under the shade,
Life
I was
is great
thankful
there.
for the break from the intense light. But
I was
beneath
actually
the
more of an
underside
LA
of the
kind of
road
guy.
above,
I'm
some
just
strange
curious on what it's like
sounds
living
began
there.
to echo, forcing me in for another look. This wasn't an active exhibition, but there were two messed up looking dudes lying naked on the concrete, and one of them was crouched over the other, tearing into a man's face with his teeth. There was blood gushing out and spilling onto the asphalt, bone showing through the bite wounds on the face, and flesh in the attacker's teeth as he looked up to notice me, just to scream like a feral zombie as he looked me dead in the eye. It was at that exact moment that I jumped onto my bike and pedaled off at top speed. All prior drowsiness was erased by the shot of adrenaline. I kept looking back to see if I was being...
I'm gonna have to blur that. Oh wow! If you want to see the unblurred version, just watch this one. It's called 9 True Horror Story Animation Completion. So if you want to see it without me reacting to it, just go watch that, and you'll see why my face just looked like that a minute ago. Let's just continue. I can tell it's gonna be a bad one.
ran
Boy.
down by that psycho. But luckily, he'd been content with scaring me off. I rolled down the first ramp
Wait,
that I
is this,
got to and immediately went looking for
Is
a
this on
cop.
high
I
resolution?
found one not even a block away,
Oh,
surrounded
no.
by several other very concerned-looking citizens. The police officer, however, seemed annoyed, but I was in a panic, and I never panic, so I must have been a sight to see all on my own. I barged through all those people and got right up into the cop's face. There's a flippin' zombie on the frickin' pedestrian path. Up the ramp, just up that way. Come on, don't get hysterical with me, people. What do you mean by zombie? There's a dude eating another dude's face off, man! Finally, it seemed like something clicked in the cop's brain. He didn't say anything to us, He walked straight into his car, speaking something
It's a
into
good
his
cop.
radio.
Usually, I thought
Then
he
he
wouldn't even
drove up
believe
the
it.
off-ramp going the wrong way, out of sight. Me and those other civilians traded a few strange looks, all in an understandable loss for words. Some of them looked like avid bicyclists. Others just looked like people who had come out of their cars. I wondered how long that thing had been going on with all those people just driving past like that. Then we heard the gunshots, 5 of them in quick succession. Everybody on the street stopped what they were doing, dumbfounded.
Wait, what
In
if
just a
it's...
few minutes, more and more cops came, followed by an ambulance, and then the army of press. News van after news van drove up to broadcast the scoop, live
So
on the
was it a
scene.
zombie?
Whatever. I heard some office building captured the whole thing on their security cameras. It was the talk of the town for weeks. I'm sure the name Miami was heard all across the world alongside Zombie Attack, Cannibal Eats Face Off Homeless Man, Florida Man Gets Wasted and Eats Face. I don't care for any of that. People who weren't there seem fascinated by it. But I know more than anything that I never want to see pictures of that horrible tragedy. Just from seeing it one time, I was shaken up for months. I still get hairs standing up on the back of my neck whenever I pass under the bridge.
Wouldn't we all?
A person who was riding his bike here off the MacArthur Causeway yesterday afternoon says he saw one man eating another man alive.
Wait, this was true?
Here from the Miami man who had his face chewed off.
My face was all stroke. My eyes got plucked out.
Had ignored the officer's orders to stop eating the other man's face.
This is why I stopped shopping on Amazon, and you should too. Don't spend another dime on Amazon.
That was terrible. I'm ready
Out
for
of
the next
every
one.
day that I have ever lived through, even with so many of them
Terrifying.
being so hard, there is one that stands out as the worst day of my entire life. It was my mother's 63rd birthday. The morning started just like any other. I helped my little girl get dressed and ready for
This is the
school.
last horror
It was
animation.
supposed to be a big day for her. She had been practicing for her school spelling
This one's
bee for
actually a good one.
weeks,
That one
and
was just
today was
disgusting.
the day. The two of us
Yeah.
were about to walk out the door when my husband grabbed me on the shoulder and stopped us before the door. You can't let her go to school looking like that. She looks unkempt. What will people think when she's on stage? I was going to just accept that he was right and change our daughter into some different clothes, but my mother, who was living with us at the time, had a bit of a grudge against my husband, and she wouldn't have it. It was her birthday after all.
Who do you think you're talking to? If you make my granddaughter late to school on the day of her recital, you
Who do you think you're talking to? If you think you're...
got another thing coming. Go, baby, get out of here. Don't let that oaf tell you what to do.
My husband looked a little dumbstruck by my mother's resistance to his remark. He was usually the head of the household, and he would always get his way. But ever since my mother retired and started living with us, she had fought him for control over every little thing. I didn't want to be caught in the crossfire between the two of them
She
on that
looks
day,
nothing like her
so
mom.
I just left like my mother told me
Why
to.
is she...
I dropped my
she's the
daughter off
narrator,
at
I think.
school,
Why does she
then
sound like a
spent
man?
several
Why
hours
does
running
she sound
errands.
like a man?
Early in the afternoon, I got a call from my mother. For some reason,
Usually
she
those
was
narrators,
elated.
Today sure is a good
girl.
day, dear. How's about you take your old lady out for some coffee and pastries for her birthday?
There was
Oh, crap, my light fell. Okay, good. My God. My grandma is insane.
not really any way that I could say no. I might have married a controlling man, but I was born to an even more demanding and particular mother. So I put a hold on the grocery shopping I was about to do and met her at her favorite cafe in town, which was, of course, ridiculously overpriced and overrated. She ordered the most expensive things on the menu on my tab. then told me to take pictures of her holding them up to commemorate the occasion. When I asked for a bite, she said,
Oh, give it a rest, honey. I've done enough for you today. I deserve this to myself.
I was confused by what she meant, but I didn't bother to ask. I heard my phone go off from my purse, and I welcomed the distraction. I'd gotten a text from my sister-in-law asking where my mother was. I replied that she was at the coffee house with me, but I didn't get a reply. Instead, about 15 minutes later, the police pulled up. They marched inside with forlorn faces and told us to follow them to the police station, but they wouldn't tell us why. Now, I understand that they didn't want to make a scene at the place of business. When we got to the station, we were met by a man in a suit who spoke to us
What
softly.
happened?
Hello, ma'ams. I have some very unfortunate news. If you would, I'd like to talk to one of you at a time in this room here. The other can sit
now
in
I'm
the waiting room with
This
your
is getting
family.
good now.
Oh, let me go first. It's my birthday.
Sure. Come with me, ma'am. And so, my mother disappeared
I mean,
into
it
a
is kind of funny
windowless
here, like,
room with that man,
not funny.
as
But
I was
unfortunately,
ushered
it is,
into a
like,
larger
some guy,
waiting
like,
room, where I found
it
my
kinda
entire
gets you, like-
family of in-laws sitting in quiet, sobbing despair. I asked them,
Do any of you know what's going on?
You get really
but
curious
none
when
of
someone
them
says, "I
answered.
have unfortunate
They just looked at me
news."
with daggers in their tearful eyes. Confused, I found a seat away from them,
What
up
happened?
against
Someone
the wall
died.
that was shared with
Someone
the
died,
room my
didn't they?
mother had just been
Maybe.
taken into. I was soon to find out that that room was purposed for interrogations and had an extremely thin wall. Something terrible happened today, ma'am. Your son-in-law has passed away.
Huh? What'd you say?
Your daughter's husband has been killed.
Shut up, Texas.
Oh no! Oh no!
Okay, I got some bad news. What is it? Your son-in-law has passed away.
In that moment, my world collapsed. I'd just seen my husband alive a few hours ago, but now
Jeez.
he was gone.
What if
I
she
couldn't
killed
think
him?
of a single person who would want to hurt him, but then it hit me. The last person I'd left him alone with was my own mother.
So he's dead?
Yes, he was killed. He was shot a dozen times in his own home.
Yay! Happy birthday to me. I did it. I did it.
Everything after that is just a blur.
She just said,
They
"I
called my
did it."
daughter out of school and made us go in the room with my mother. remember
So what does that
her
mean? She
saying
did
something
it.
like,
She did
Aren't
it.
you so happy, baby? You're free now. No more of that jerk hanging around.
but there was nothing I could say. I'm still struggling
There's
to
only one thing
recover
to
from
do.
that day.
Kill your
Almost
mother. I'm just
10
kidding,
years
I'm just kidding.
ago.
That's not good.
I just can't believe how deranged she became. That she would do something so despicable and then celebrate it. She even made me take her out to lunch afterwards. I know I didn't marry a perfect man, but she had no right to do what she did. We could have worked things out, but now none of that is possible. But over everything else, it's my daughter I pray for. For her grandmother to take away her father like that and act like she was doing her a favor. I just don't understand what snapped in that woman's mind.
What did you think of him? Okay, why do you say that?
That's the big thumbs down. You didn't like him.
I want to tell you that just within the last 30 minutes, the judge did rule that there is now enough evidence for Cynthia Sitabaca to stand trial for murder.
Did he do it? You tell me. Yeah, he did. He did.
He did.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh boy, oh boy. Good. Oh, thank you, thank you.
Did you check to see if he was doing it?
I didn't care.
Alright, well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. This was a pretty scary one. This was a pretty scary one. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.